Peter, tell me, what do you think about the state of the European economy and industry in general? Do something need to be changed, or what is the state of play?
Well, the truth is that there's hardly any growth in Europe, and that's of course very sad, especially because the reason for this is that because of European Union policies, energy prices are excessively high. Because of the climate taxation, energy prices are high and contributing to the fact that in particular the chemical industry is facing divestment. Chemical industry companies like BASF are investing a lot in China but not in Europe. And the chemical industry is raising the alarm. They're telling Ursula von der Leyen, hey, you have to do something about it. But hardly anybody is talking about the European Union's climate tax, the emission trading system, which is effectively a climate tax. The climate tax of the EU makes sure that the natural gas price in the EU is very high. It's 4 times as high as in the United States. And this tax in itself is higher than the total American gas price. So our companies in Europe have to compete with American companies that can enjoy cheap energy. And of course also member states are responsible, but I think if we change anything, it has to be starting at the EU level. But von der Leyen is not listening.
Philippe, so tell me, you were talking about ideological background of the new current European industrial policy. What can you tell us about how is ideology influencing the decisions in the economic spectrum?
Well, generally, for any type of political decision that you make at a large scale, you need to have some orientation, not necessarily ideology, but often that is what actually drives the political decisions. And it seems to me that currently we are somewhere between the ideology of degrowth and the ideology of overregulation to prevent harm. And this is, both are to some extent understandable approaches, but both have obviously the downsides and produce, in the current circumstances at least, very negative effects for not just the European economy, but for society overall. And this is why the ideological impact on the decisions is negative. Plus, and this is something which is typical of ideology, it blindsides for consequences, because you go for a preferred choice from an ideological point of view, regardless, or at least to some extent regardless of the consequences it produces. Although you should, in my opinion, take the opposite approach. Have a preferred policy that you want to pursue, but consider the consequences it will produce and then assess if you actually do want to follow this policy or not, regardless of the alignment with your ideology.
So, what do you think about what the panelists said on the state of the European economy and industry? With what would you agree, what would you disagree with?
First of all, it was such an interesting discussion, hearing different points of view, examples from different countries as well, including Belgium, Netherlands, Germany. So I really enjoyed hearing their opinions. What I disagree maybe is the negative side, but I am overly optimistic as usual, so I'm always searching for the good points as well in everything that is happening around, including policies, including EU policies. So I have my positive view about Europe, that we are going somewhere. I agree with them about some reforms. We do need to restructure some things. And I agree with one of the panelists, one of the people who spoke on that meeting, that it might not happen all of a sudden. Maybe it could be step by step or something like this, but reforms maybe are needed.